why a few questions have been made. So I think we have around 20 teams right now, more than 20 teams. So what I was doing that I was selecting only the top four. I was thinking about selecting only the top four. But right now I'm saying that there are many teams here. So let's do one thing. If I find that cutoff is too close or cutoff is too close or yeah, I used to do one thing, change the position of the camera. Change the position of the camera. Your whole answers will be visible if you place it in that way. Yes, so I was saying that I was thinking about including only the top four teams, but right now, but in case the answers, in case the cutoff is pretty close, in case the teams are scoring too high, I would think about including the top six also. Then I will have to make some extra questions. That's not a problem though. But still, it will be decided later on. And let's start with the pools first. Where's the site? Have you started with the stream, Vedant? Has the YouTube stream started? That's great. So wait a minute. So all those who have turned off the cameras, please turn it on. We won't be accepting your answers. And now let's begin with the formal event. Good morning, everyone present over here. It's a great delight for us, for the GK Club, to host the first edition of this India quiz. The main aim of this quiz is to bring together a group of people who might have a basic interest in humanities, history, India, politics, or even the current affairs related to India. The thing is, in our country, we have several quizzes which aim at technology, science, maybe the pop culture fandom, or anything related to the things which we do not know. India has been an untouched topic in the inter-school quizzes for a long period of time. So the GK Club thought to have a quiz which would revolve around India, but wouldn't sound too inclusive also. The questions will be general in nature, but will revolve around India. For those who haven't attended a quiz before, what you have to do is that you have to write your answers in a sheet of paper. Ayush Prasad, again, I'm keeping you in the waiting room. I think you're not here. Join once again and keep it in such a way that your whole answer isn't visible.
The answer would not be visible. I would take care of that.
All right. You're saying that, and that's great. Ujjwal Aditya, your camera hasn't been turned on yet. The proctors, have a look at it. Abhash Kumar, should we go ahead? Has everyone turned on the cameras? Abhash, Garf Tekriwal, Ankush Anand. Great.
Bhaiya, mera camera on.
I was just asking if we should go ahead since I've asked you
Bhaiya,
guys to
Reena
check.
Joshi. Bhaiya, Reena Joshi
She's
is
a
not.
teacher. She's a teacher moderator.
Bhaiya, A. Rodriguez. Someone.
Mr. Anthony Rodriguez sir is the moderator of the club. Let me introduce to them. Teacher Reena Joshi is the librarian of the Knowledge Center and she is the moderator of the club. Mr. Anthony Rodriguez is also the moderator of our club and is the science teacher in the high school of Loyola. Most of you wouldn't have seen them because the school was closed for the last 2 years. Around 2 years mostly. So let's start with it. I can see most of you are new to this group. So all those who would like to join the GK Club can text me. I'll add you to the group. But for that, you will have to be regular, and you'll have to attend all the rounds which the club conducts. Otherwise, you will be removed from the group. That's what we are following for the past few days. So let's start with the quiz. Are all the teams fine? Is there anyone who isn't fine? Needs some time. Let's start with the quiz then. So you all have been provided with a Google form. So there are total number of 15 questions and the mode of submission is you have to write your answers on a sheet of paper like you do, like most of you do it in your school exams, and it should be uploaded on the Google form before the submission time elapses. The top four or even the top six could be selected for the finale. It will be based on my discretion. Please do not use the knowledge resources of the internet. The time will run out. I won't be giving much time. Questions 1, 5, 10, and 15 are tiebreakers. In case all the teams have the same score, we'll be using these tiebreakers to break the tie. Sudden death will be used in case of a double tie. In case even the tiebreakers are same, in case the teams are getting 3 out of 5 and 3 out of 5 in the tiebreakers, I don't like this method of sudden death because it has eliminated me from many quizzes, but still there's no option. We will be using sudden death where if we will be checking from the first answer. If you get your first answer wrong, you won't be selected. This is how we follow the sudden death. And my decisions shall be final and binding. I can disqualify a team of my will in case I find them, obviously with a proper reasoning and different things. So here's the first question. It's an India quiz, so think about it. It's a pretty repeated question for those who have attended the rounds before. Here's the question. 16 sites have been chosen to celebrate a particular event. The reason behind choosing that certain number of sites remain unknown. Eminent personalities from all over the country are a part of a 200 plus member committee formed by the government of India. Pictures of 4 of the sites have been provided in the next slide. Identify the event. So there's an event which is being celebrated by the government of India, and these are 4 of the 16 sites which have been chosen to celebrate that certain event. What you have to tell is what is the event. I want a proper name for this event which was chosen a while ago, a month ago mostly. A name was chosen. I will only accept that proper name. Question number 2. The 67-year-old photographer listed the 3 unforgettable events of his career. One was MGR's death in 1987. Another was the assassination of Rajiv Gandhi. In between these events, he took an iconic photograph that have been a turning point in dash politics. An unidentified messenger submitted X's letter of resignation. Something is happening over here. You can read the whole story, and what you need to tell me is that give me X and Y. X left the assembly knowing that she would come back as CM. And you can assume why I'm asking this kind of question. If she would come back as CM, then what could have happened? Think about it. X and Y on these lines. MGR's death in 1987. She would come back as chief minister, and you would definitely get the answer. It's a pretty easy question. All the questions are easy. You just need to think around the clues which have been provided in the questions. Question number 3 is, in 2013, the Kolkata police launched a campaign to try and curb the problem of jaywalking. Jaywalking is walking carelessly on the streets. They put up 40 hoardings, ingeniously using an album cover along with the tagline, "If they can, why can't you?" So they say the reason behind this is they wanted a catchy and appealing campaign. And just tell me what image did the Kolkata police use? This is a very iconic image. They used cash in on their universal popularity. If they can, why can't you? Traffic police.
हिंट मत दीजिएगा इसमें ज्यादा.
I won't be vetoed by the way. Think about it. Question number 4. The Battle of Singapore, also known as the Fall of Singapore, was fought in the Southeast Asian theater of World War II, when the Empire of Japan invaded the British stronghold of Singapore, ending with a Japanese victory on 15th February 1942. From the 80,000 British captures were 40,000 Indian soldiers, whom the revolutionary Rash Bihari Bose would form into the pro-independence X, which would then join the Japanese in fighting the British in Burma and all the way to Assam. So Rash Bihari Bose formed something before the arrival of a much popular person. Rash Bihari Bose used to be a moderate nationalist during the 1910s, and he later fled to Japan. And as the history books define him, he became an aggressive nationalist. So what is Rash Bihari Bose? What did Rash Bihari Bose form with those 40,000 Indian soldiers? Singapore, Battle of Singapore, fall of World War II, Southeast Asian theater. Think about it. You will get the answer. Question number 5. Agumbe is a rainy hamlet in the Western Ghats, situated around 1 hour from Manipal, Karnataka. It is known for its rainforest conservation efforts and has a research station to study the king cobra species in real life. Real life in the sense in the TV, in the television, or maybe in the literature books also. It was a home to X and his friends. X and his friends is the most easiest clue in the whole thing. For 3 seasons of television in the 1980s, briefly revived in 2006 for 15 episodes. IDX and the real life location. You have to IDX and the real life location, television location. Question number 6. Anand Math is inspired by and set in the background of the Sannyasi rebellion of the late 18th century. It is considered one of the most important novels in the history of Bengali and Indian literature due to its importance in the struggle for Indian independence. The book also contained a song, X, which in English, Hail to the Mother, also commonly as Mother I Bow to Thee. IDX as we popularly know it. This Anand Math is mentioned over there. What more could be mentioned in this kind of question? What comes to your mind when you hear
Veto hints.
Anand Math? Vetoed by Ishanwitz. Moving to the next question. Question number 7. Hey, just a second, my PVD crashed. I will have to enable the sound for this question. Yeah. So Pepsi ran the Change the Game ad campaign in the 2011 ICC Men's Cricket World Cup. It featured many well-known cricketers as well as the famous cricket umpire Billy Bowden, known for his unusual style of giving the signals of out. Yeah, all right, I'll be playing the video. The funny advertisements were well received by the Indian audience. Here's a question based on one of the advertisements. What is Mahendra Singh Dhoni trying to learn in this video?
तो अब ध्यान से देखो, सट अप, नजर सामने है, अब पैर यहाँ, अब कस के पकड़, जम के जकड़ लगा, समझे? चलो करो, कस के पकड़, जम के जकड़ लगा, कस के पकड़ लगा, और जम के जकड़ लगा, बहुत बढ़िया, अब वहाँ पे भी ऐसे ही करना.
So what are we talking about? What is MS trying to learn in this video? What is Mahendra Singh Dhoni trying to learn in this video? Moving to the next question. 2 lawyers started a law firm at Karachi before the partition of India. When riots broke out in February 1948, one of the friends fled to India and one of them later became the law minister in Pakistan. As fate would have it, later the lawyer who fled to India also became the law minister in India. Identify that Indian law minister. You don't need to identify the law minister of Pakistan, just identify the Indian law minister. And it's, for those who want to pursue law, that person, that Indian law minister is, as I have talked to my friends who want to become lawyers, the Indian law minister is quite famous in that circle. So he used to be a very aged man who used to tell the judges that even before you were born, I started practicing law. So this was the kind of impact and the personality that lawyer used to have. So tell me the name of the Indian law minister. He was the law minister during the 2000s, early 2000s. Moving to the next question. The Indian Constitution in 1950 provided for 3 main types of states, A, B, and C, and a class of territories, D. Part C states included the former chief commissioners' provinces and some princely states, each governed by a chief commissioner appointed by the President of India. There were 10 Part C states: Ajmer, Bhopal, Bilaspur, Coorg, Delhi, Himachal Pradesh, Kutch, Manipur, Tripura, and which other states named after physical features? So these are the states called Ajmer. I think I haven't framed the last line properly. So what you need to tell is that which is the other state I'm missing over here in the Part C states, Ajmer, apart from these 9 states, which is the other state named after a physical feature passing through it? Think about it, states named after a physical feature maybe in the central India. Think about it. Maybe the physical feature could be a mountain range. Moving to the next question.
Bhaiya,
This
can you go a
politician,
little slow?
actually the mode is online, so it wouldn't be right to go slow. Questions can be googled, right? If you're facing any trouble in coordinating with your teammates, then I can go slow. Then that's not a problem. Waiting this question for 5 more seconds. 10th question. This politician, once labeled by Humbert Humphrey as one of the greatest political leaders in all the countries of the free world, once rejected something effectively with the quote, "No Hindi, no English." Who said this about what? Who said these rhymes, "No Hindi, no English," and about what? The person is quite famous in our history textbooks of class 12 when we talk about Indira Gandhi and the 1970s. He's regarded as the kingmaker who made Indira Gandhi and Lal Bahadur Shastri ji as the prime ministers of country. Who is this leader who once rejected something with a quote, "No Hindi, no English"?
Bhaiya, only name is needed.
Name and what what did he reject? Name and what did he reject? All right. Let's move to the next question. I think 11th question has been duplicated. So I think there's a problem. So there are just 14 questions here. So keep 11th question as a blank. Won't be giving points to that. In the Mahabharata, King Shantanu is said to have descended from a great ruler, etymologically significant to our country. The ruler's mother, X, led a great part of her life in seclusion because of a sage's curse. The sage, renowned for a characteristically detested human trait, lives up to the times of Pandavas, but this time would bless their wife. Identify the sage. Also identify a great literary work named after X. So the sage is known to curse different people during the whole course of time, and even in the Ramayana or the Mahabharata. And there's a great literary work named after X, which is even taught in the colleges for BA English, even though it's written in Sanskrit, but still it is taught, translated and taught in several languages. And even in class 11 and 12 in Hindi, we are taught another work of literature by the author of this great literary work. A very famous literary work, and identify the name of the sage. Great. Next question. In the early 90s, the government of India decided to employ a novel idea to solve a problem faced by one of its holiest sites. The idea was to use sea turtles since they could be found near the place, and given their cultural importance, the idea to train and use them was deemed fit. However, the plan failed miserably. It was plagued by corruption and mismanagement. One issue that was not given much thought was that the sea turtles could be poached once they were let out in the open. For what purpose were these turtles being used? So, what happened in the early 90s was Indian government decided to implement a certain idea and use sea turtles, a certain variety of sea turtles, but this was later rejected. For what purpose were these turtles being used? For what purpose were these turtles being used, which was later rejected? It might even be, I can give you a hint that it might be.
hints on नहीं
Hints nahi chahiye? That's great. Many theories abound on the creation of this dish. During the reign of Emperor Shah Jahan, again, this is a very repeated question. There was an outbreak of cholera. One remedy suggested was to make food with loads of spices so that it would kill the bacteria within. Thus was born eggs, which the entire populace of Delhi is believed to have consumed. A slight variant attributes to it the court physician Hakim Ali, who realized that the foul water in a defunct local canal would result in serious waterborne diseases, and thought the only way to prevent it was to add a liberal dose of spices, tamarind, red chilies, coriander, mint to the food. The resultant flavor profile is what gave X its name. I want the food that is X, which is a very common street food which
Veto
most
hints.
of you might have
Bhaiya,
had.
veto hints,
yesterday.
veto hints.
Veto hints. Then next question. During the Kargil War in 1999, Captain Vikram Batra was interviewed inside his bunker by Barkha Datta for NDTV. When he was asked in the interview whether he felt any fear, he replied with the battle cry of his unit. If I would have asked this question around 5 months back, or as this was asked to us in class 7 and a quiz for Shori Seal, this would have been pretty tough for most of you. But I don't think it would be now. Even a movie was released on him. So wouldn't give much time on this. What phrase did he mention as a battle cry which would make then the brand managers at PepsiCo proud? Since one of the questions have been repeated and cancelled, so let's move to another question of the finals, the first question of the finale. Uh, Mark that as the first question, as the 11th question, which was where there was a problem. Let's leave it. Not a great idea. So during the Kargil War in 1999, Captain Vikram Batra interviewed inside his bunker by Barkha Datta for NDTV. Tell me what it is.
Bhaiya, will you give a revision of all the questions?
Repeating the questions. All right. Teams, do one thing. Start submitting your answer scripts. I will stop accepting it at 11:28 a.m.
Can you rerun the whole quiz once?
Sure. 15th question is this. Try not to have numbering errors. Many theories about spelling error is not a problem. 6th, 7th, and 8th.
First 5 questions
I'm showing all the questions. 13th questions, 13th question, 12th question, 11th. 11th was cancelled. 10th is there. 9th, state named after a physical feature. 8th, identify the Indian law minister. 7th, what is Mahendra Singh Dhoni trying to learn in this video? Anand Mat, how do we popularly know it? And 5th question, Agumbe is a rainy hamlet in the Western Ghats. Real life, tell me the real life and IDX. Battle of Singapore, IDX. What image did the Kolkata police use?
Can you show the question 4 months then?
Question 4 is this Battle of Singapore. Raj Bihari Bose formed into the pro-independence.
Bhaiya, can you show question 15, last one?
I'm showing it. The 67-year-old photographer listed the 3 unforgettable events of his career. She would come back as CM, and this was the first question. I won't be showing any other questions than 15. Start submitting your answer scripts. The time is already over.
Bhaiya, in the Google Forms, there is only from class 9 to 12.
Class 6 to 8, send it to me by WhatsApp. I haven't received many responses till now. Remember, teams, we will be deducting points in case you send it late. Have received it from 11 teams till now. Waiting for 1 more minute. Let's wait till 11:30. Thirteen teams till now, and I have received, I think, from almost all the 6th, 7th, and 8th. And the proctors, if you think that anyone was using unfair means, just send it to me across WhatsApp. Using the form now. Is there anyone who hasn't submitted yet?
Submitting.
2 minutes is too much. Try to do it fast.
Yes, we are done.
Anybody else who hasn't submitted and would like to submit?
Yes, bhaiya. Uploading the file now.
Cool. These are pretty easy questions. I'm pretty sure that. So I think we should select top. Anybody else left? From 16 teams have received it from 16 teams.
Bhaiya, we are left. Please wait a minute.
Kushagra Sharma. All right. Do it fast. No, do not stop the stream right now. I'll tell you when you have to stop it. All right. Do not stop it right now. We'll be discussing the answers, and please do not leave the meeting if you have submitted. We'll be discussing the answers right now, and I won't be disclosing the answers in the WhatsApp group. So wait, so that you can have a basic assumption of how much you are supposed to score. Vedant, the banner hasn't properly been inserted in the YouTube channel. Can you see through it? Ayan, can you see through it that it is adjusted properly? In that,
I think I'd send the proper size only. I'll see once.
All right, I've received around 21 responses in just 2 seconds. Great. Closing the form. Form has been closed. I won't be accepting responses from any other team. Anyone still left? Is there anyone still left who would like to submit? No, that's great. Waited a lot of time. Okay. What is the answer to this question? Let's have the answer discussion.
भैया दिल मांगे मोर
ये दिल मांगे मोर
ये दिल मांगे मोर
Dil Mange More is the right answer. What is this? Just shout out the answers if you do not care about anyone. Chart is the right answer. This. To eat the fleshes which were flowing in the Ganga river. Dead corpses are obviously dead. The corpses in the Ganga.
To stop Sri Lankan fishermen.
Not to stop the Sri Lankan fishermen. Yuvain Hazara, you are already late. If you are unable to submit, we have already started discussing the answer, so it won't be considered. You should have told me the time when I asked the teams if anyone has submitted. Is left to submit. This question, 12th, anybody?
Vyasa and
व्यास
No, this is Durvasa and Abhijanam Shakuntalam by Kalidas. Sage Durvasa and Abhijanam Shakuntalam named after.
भैया पार्ट पॉइंट्स मिलेगा बस एक आंसर पे.
हाँ मिलेगा, पार्ट पॉइंट्स मिलेगा. 11th question.
I have written only Vyas.
Vyas is not the right answer. Vyas was someone else. If the answer is Elon Musk and you give me Steve Jobs, that would be a completely different thing, right? So this politician once labeled by Humphrey, 11th was cancelled. 10th is K. Kamraj, and he said this about the Prime Minister's post. This is Vindhya Pradesh. Vindhya Pradesh is the right answer. Vindhya Pradesh. And what should be the physical feature?
Vindhyas.
Next time ही लिखा है था.
This should be.
Ram Jethmalani.
Ram Jethmalani is the right answer. 7th is helicopter shot. Helicopter shot is the right answer. So question number 7. Mahendra Singh Dhoni 7. So try to keep it in that way.
ये वाला भैया वंदे मातरम.
Vande Mataram is the right answer. This is
Swami and Malgudi.
Swami and Malgudi. This
भैया खाली अगर मालगुडी डेज लिखे पॉइंट्स मिलेगा कि दोनों लिखना था. स्वामी
0.5 मिलेगा. Part points मिलेगा. You'll be getting part points over here.
Swami and
So Right. So question number 4. Anybody who has attempted this? This is
Hindu
Indian.
Mahasabha.
This is
Indian
this
National
is
Army.
Indian. This is Indian National Army. Indian National Army. Captain Mohan Singh and
short
ये
Raj
वाला
Bihari
भैया
invited
Abbey Road
album cover.
Beatles, Abbey Road, right?
Beatles.
Beatles, Abbey Road. So there's a confusion regarding this that Subhash Chandra Bose formed the Indian National Army, but he was invited by Raj Bihari Bose and Captain Mohan Singh to form the Indian National Army in Singapore, and he was there during that time. He was there in Germany, and he's said to be, IN is the right answer. IN Azad Hind Fauj, and he was the first, and he is said to be the first Indian to travel in submarine. Some people call Subhash Chandra Bose due to his whole journey from Germany to Singapore from Cape of Good Hope. So question number 3, this is what image did the Kolkata police use? This is Abbey Road Beatles, and Beatles famous pic while they're crossing the traffic. Even if you have explained what's happening in that Beatles pic, you will be getting points. The 67-year-old photographer listed the 3 unforgettable events of his career. This is X's.
Is it Mayavati?
This is Mayavati.
Not Mayavati. This is X's. I forgot her name. Shit. I just remembered her. The Tamil Nadu CM, Jayalalitha, Jayalalitha, and this X's and not Karunanidhi, MGR. Y is MG. Yeah, only X. Where's Y? There's no Y. So just X is.
There is a Y.
There's a Y.
was
CMY. So CMY is MGR. CMY is MGR and Y is MGR as it is even written there in the second line itself. And X is Jayalalitha. Sorry, I just made the word messed up.
This is Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, 75th Independence Day celebration.
Perfect. Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav will get you points. 75th in the celebration wouldn't get you points. I wanted a very specific name for, since this question was repeated in one of the previous quizzes. So the finals will start at 4 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and what you guys have to do is that we'll be sending the results soon, maybe by 1 or 2 p.m. Keep having a look at the WhatsApp groups. If you think you have scored more than the cutoff, you can contact me within the 10 minutes. That's it. Thank you everyone for being here. Let's end the meeting for now.
Bye-bye.